Welcome to another Tempo Storm Meta Snapshot breakdown. The latest expansion, United in Stormwind, has been out for about a week, and the meta continues to fluctuate every day. We're sure to continue to see drastic shifts in the coming days. For those of you who dislike the current meta, try not to stress yourself out too much. Blizzard has confirmed that we will be seeing a balance patch in the coming weeks to level out win rates among the classes. We're excited to see where the meta heads in the days leading up to the patch, but only time will tell where things will end up. Before we dive into Tier 1 to see what classes and decks are dominating the meta, we'd like to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel over here at Tempo Strategy to be kept up to date with all of our Hearthstone content. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into the decks at the top of Tier 1. Leading off Tier 1 this time around is Hand Buff Paladin. This deck resembles one that you'd find in Arena due to the on-curve playstyle that it features. Typically, games will be decided by Prismatic Jewel Kit and Alliance Bannermen buffing key minions, making it feel nearly impossible at times to keep up with the over-buffed creatures on the board. Also, if you ever go wide against Hand Buff Paladin, you run the risk of instantly losing to Samuro coupled with hand buffs, so really, you just have to pick your poison. However, the deck sometimes loses to itself by bricking on draws or having an opening hand that is simply too expensive. We're looking at you, Lotheb. Hand Buff Paladin has a good matchup against some of the quest decks that are slower to get online, such as Quest Druid or OTK Demon Hunter. Ropes of Protection also helps out a lot against any target spell, making it much more difficult for them to ever clear your threats. As for bad matchups, Paladin tends to find itself struggling against Quest Rogue. Luckily for Uther fans, this archetype only really has one or two bad matchups right now, with Quest Rogue leading that charge. The second archetype in Tier 1 in this Meta Snapshot is Face Hunter. This deck has been around since, well, forever. Face Hunter has been a staple deck since Hearthstone's inception, and it is here to stay. Face Hunter decks have not changed all that much since the new expansion, and that's pretty much why they're performing so well. While other players are experimenting with quest decks, Face Hunter just kills them. Face Hunter abuses unrefined decks, and this has been the case for years. It's likely this archetype will struggle once the meta stabilizes, but maybe we'll see it leading the charge for a while. Face Hunter has a great matchup against Quest Mage, which is one of the most hated decks at the moment, so you get a motivational edge as well. Face Hunter does have more bad matchups than Paladin does though. For instance, OTK Demon Hunter is nearly unbeatable due to the insane amount of healing and board clears that Illidan has access to. The last deck we'll be taking a look at in Tier 1 is Quest Rogue. This archetype took a few days to come to fruition, but after testing and the dust from the new expansion settling, Quest Rogue has proven to be a formidable choice for ladder, and players are jamming it all over. Unlike previous Quest Rogue, this quest aims to play for board and win with tempo, using the quest rewards to push for damage and mess with your opponent's game plan. Quest Rogue plays similarly to the old tempo rogue archetype that ran Prince Keliseth. Quest Rogue has a good matchup against board-based decks such as Deathrattle Demon Hunter and Hand Buff Paladin, as you can take board easily and clear theirs using your minions. But Quest Rogue finds itself struggling against Quest Mage, as this matchup can be pretty hard for you to do much in. Whenever you have a glimpse of hope, they freeze your board and push towards finishing their quest, making it hard for you to win, barring an insanely aggressive start. As with every Meta Snapshot breakdown, now that we're finished looking at the first tier, we'll take a look at the top 3 decks leading the second tier. Before we do, we want to remind you to head over to tempostorm.com to view the rest of the Meta Snapshot in full, so you can better prepare yourself for the Stormwind meta. Now let's take a look at the decks that narrowly missed Tier 1. Leading off Tier 2 in the United and Stormwind meta is the extremely popular Quest Warlock. Players have been flocking to this list since the start of the expansion due to how refreshing and different the archetype is. While it may seem like a simple miracle deck, it also doubles as a control deck at times, allowing you to be flexible with your game plan. Quest Warlock aims to cycle through the deck until you finish your quest by damaging yourself, allowing you to force your self-inflicted damage onto your opponent. Quest Warlock has a good matchup against decks like Quest Druid that struggle to interact with their opponent. By the time the Druid finishes their quest, you're making them take your fatigue damage, making it nearly impossible for them to win. As for bad matchups, Quest Warlock has a difficult time beating OTK Demon Hunter, as they finish their quest around the same time as you, and your self-harm makes it easier for them to kill you. The second deck making an appearance in Tier 2 is Quest Mage. This archetype is the talk of the town, and it feels a bit like Freeze Mage, which explains why a lot of players aren't a fan of it. Playing against Quest Mage can really feel like you're a spectator at the mercy of your opponent. content. There is actually a lot of counterplay in this deck's matchups, but it can often feel like you don't have much say, as the deck's perfect draws really are insane. Quest Mage aims to stall the game out while finishing its quest, then burn opponents down with a plethora of ignites. Quest Mage has a great matchup against decks that play for board, such as Quest Rogue or Taunt Druid, as they will play into your free spells, allowing you to finish your quest ASAP. On the other hand, Quest Mage does have a hard time against combo decks that don't play minions, such as Quest Warlock. It's hard to finish your quest when there aren't targets for your spells, making it hard to finish the game at times. The last deck we'll be taking a look at for today's Meta Snapshot breakdown is Deathrattle Demon Hunter. This deck is relatively similar to the old build, but it has added a few new Deathrattles to spice things up. This makes the archetype more consistent and allows for some crazy things to happen. Deathrattle Demon Hunter is one of the more traditional Hearthstone decks, as you play for board while focusing on minion-to-minion combat. You also have the ability to draw a chain of Deathrattles, really making sure your opponent has no fun at all. Deathrattle Demon Hunter has a favored matchup against both of the Druid archetypes due to their inability to interact with your board at all, leaving you to smack them in the head. As for bad matchups, we've been seeing Deathrattle Demon Hunter struggle against both Quest Mage and Quest Rogue, as the Quest decks can both just focus on their game plan while interacting with Illidan, making it harder and harder for the Demon Hunter to gain a footing. With the Hearthstone United and Stormwind meta's constant evolution, it's hard to really predict where things will end up. The meta changes seemingly overnight, shifting from solitaire to board-based combat in a matter of hours. We're super excited to see where the meta takes itself in the coming weeks following the balance changes, but for now, this Meta Snapshot will help you prepare yourself for the latter. Thank you very much for joining us for a Meta Snapshot breakdown. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel to keep up with all of our Hearthstone content. Until next time!